As always, we're broadcasting from our lovely little studio, closet, right here in sub-basement D of the Advanced Technology Center on the beautiful campus of Gulf Coast State College.
As Oscar Wilde reminded us, nightmares are dreams too. For your consideration, a public radio DJ confined to sub-basement D of the Advanced Technology Center diligently produces his weekly radio show. As the DJ works, he dreams of being noticed by the suits upstairs and being invited to work beside them. One day, the phone rings and his dream of moving upstairs comes true. Or was it a nightmare?
Satellite online.
Transmitting from the third mall from the sun. You have tuned into Radio Cosmos.
Hey, it's Mike Thompson. I am back here at the old studio for another edition of Radio Cosmos Live. And today, I am thrilled to have Mr. Gary Nichols with me. Gary, thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you for being thrilled.
I don't get thrilled often.
I don't hear it very often.
Yeah. So let's talk about your music now. Are you a Northwest Florida kind of guy, or did you move down to this area?
Born at Eglin Air Force Base.
Ah.
And spent the rest of my life, well, except for a very small time in Germany, Air Force kid, but the rest of the time from about 2.5, 3 years old till I went away to college. Born and raised, went to all the schools.
Ah, right. You went to Rutherford, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I still got my wallet.
Yeah.
A little old school Panama City comedy there for you. It's a good way to start, right?
Watch it, I went there too.
Oh, did you?
We'll get him later.
Yeah, we'll get him.
I'm doomed.
Get his wallet later.
Yeah. So now you are the music director out at Breakfast Point Academy, right?
Technically just the band director.
just the band director.
I don't direct all the music, just
Well, but you probably should.
band. Oh, no.
That so you studied music in college, and give us a little bit of your background. I mean, what's your musical background?
Well, somebody brought a trumpet to school one day when I was in the 4th grade. They were starting a band at my school, and I grabbed it, and they showed me how to make a sound, and that was it. I just had to do that. So I joined the band and stayed in that all the way through high school, and foolishly decided to go to college and get a music degree.
Yeah, that worked out pretty good.
There's not a whole lot of jobs for just being a musician and living in Panama City. But anyway, it was okay. It worked out fine. And I've been teaching around here this is starting my 36th year.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah. Going to be done after this, too. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, it's our little secret. And then now you've been writing music for about how long? I know you've got a lot of songs.
Well, I've been writing songs, and I've written a lot of different things for band, and I've written marching routines for band, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But mostly a songwriter. You can do in 3 minutes. You can do a lot, or 4 minutes if you want. And I've been doing that since I was a teenager. But I kind of dropped that when I became an adult and had children and family and all that. Mm-hmm. Probably about 10 or 12 years ago, I decided, I think I want to do that again. I started writing and getting serious about it. And about 5 or 6 years ago, I was lucky enough to get into, the local music scene, playing gigs around here, and mostly cover songs, of course. And that's fine because I've learned a lot about songwriting from learning a lot of songs.
Oh, yeah. a lot of times you're going through them, and there'll be songs you just. I know I find that there's songs I just like playing,
Oh, absolutely.
and they're not. It's not like wow, that's a great song. It's just like that one's just fun to play.
There's something
and then
special
you think,
about it.
What's going on in there that's making it, interesting like that? So.
Exactly.
Excellent. So you're a dad.
Yep.
Okay, and your kids are a little older now?
They're all grown up, yeah.
All grown up and gone.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is your second resurgence here.
Yeah, it's my second childhood.
Yeah. Well, that's great, because I know there were songs that I worked on before I had children, and then there were songs I worked on after I had children.
They definitely changed.
And the ones that were from before kind of all went away.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Because
just
you
don't
don't
have
have
as
those
much.
life experiences yet.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And yet, your music has such a sense of humor to it. Now, do you...
Are you saying you're laughing at my songs?
Well, when you're swinging on the porch with a hound dog or two, yeah, I'm kind of finding that amusing, is what I'm getting at.
Well, I do try to. I don't know that I call it funny, but I like to put wit in there as much as possible, because our whole entertainment industry is suffering from a total lack of wit. What people think is funny now is usually just mean.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I wasn't implying that it was, comedy music. I'm just saying it has little things in
that
there
particular song that I was warming up on
Yeah.
is nothing but comedy. There's nothing deep about it. Believe me, that's the whole point. So no, you're right on track.
Okay. So.
But I'm probably not going to play that in my set,
You
unless we
kinda
have a lot of time left.
I was saying you kind of have to now. I'm just saying.
I might just do that.
Might just do that.
You're in charge.
I've heard about a talent show.
Is there a talent show?
There was at one time. Rumor has it that you and Mr. Gann actually go way back,
Yeah,
and in your formative years,
Yeah.
That talent show.
you
That
guys
talent
were
show.
actually a duo, laying down the love with
on
the
the-
flowers and the peace
on the
Some-
stage at Rutherford High School.
Yeah. How did that go?
Very,
I've heard half the story.
very strange. I don't know if I've ever heard your side of the story.
Well, somebody asked me, did we win? And I said, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
We were just in it. I don't know if there was even a
I don't even know if
contest
there was. I think it must more have been like a talent presentation, a display of talent.
Extravaganza.
And I think we did. I think we did some Jim Croce,
We
if
did.
I'm not mistaken.
We did
Tyler,
bad Leroy Brown, and I was so embarrassed to sing the word damn that I sang dang or darn or something like that.
Yeah.
Which got huge laughs.
Yeah. Times
Not
they
the
are
not the kind you want.
changing, yeah. Well, that wasn't Jim Croce, was it?
That was fun. That's how Calvin and I got to. I don't know. We met through mutual friends. You were a choir kid, right?
Mhm.
And I was a band kid.
Mhm.
And my sister was in the choir, and that may have been
Right.
how we met. I don't know, but we had a good time.
yeah, those are good old days, they
Yeah.
call them. Yeah.
Free and not too much pressure,
Nope.
except the kind you put on yourself when you're a kid. And
I had to say dang in front of her.
I didn't even know if I was allowed
And
to
your
say it.
grandma was there. Oh, love it. And
I
grandma
was
said
afraid
it.
I'd break some rule. I was always kind of a rule
And you
follower.
probably would have back then.
Yeah. Okay, so you're a mature gentleman. That it's good to have one here.
I moved it with my mind.
So and okay, so we're not 20 years old anymore.
Nope.
And I put out an album a year before last, so I'm not 20 years old anymore. What drives you to make new music now?
It's so funny. There was a really, really rich period for me, probably in the last 10 years, when just ideas would spontaneously occur all the time. I had my phone out, singing and notating things. And in the last 2 or 3 years, I've been really intent on trying to make a second record, and I've unfortunately I keep learning more about it, so I never really get a whole lot done on it. I keep going back and doing new things over, or re-recording, or I found a cool plug-in that I like and I use that, and so I'm kind of behind on that, and that's sort of taken over my focus. And I'm looking forward to hopefully getting back to writing again sometimes. And when you're writing, you have these lulls, these peaks and valleys. We're not professionals. We don't have anybody to answer to. We don't have to write a song for a new hit or anything. We just do it because we want to.
Going, hey, you owe me 6 songs this month.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
We just do it 'cause
Those
we
guys
like
are
to.
Amazing. I don't know how they do that.
I think it's a little bit of formula going into that. Maybe I don't know. We'll put them down because there's some amazing songwriters out there, and they're making a lot of money and deserve to.
Yeah.
So, what was the question?
What's got you writing music again at this point?
Oh.
Where okay, to flesh it out, when you're 20, you're writing music because you want to be a star or whatever. You want to, but when you're a little over 35, shall we say?
Safely.
Your family's gone. The odds of you becoming the next pop sensation are lower,
Let's say 0.
Yeah.
And that's okay with me because I haven't seen a lot of famous rich people any happier than me. So I'm not pursuing that anymore. And it would be foolish to think about that. But it's a lot of fun to play my tunes. And, occasionally my buddy Chuck and I will do these little concerts locally where we just do original stuff because we have a little small following of people who like our stuff. And it's fun to produce a record and listen to it and go, hey, I did that. And, just creating things. It's just what I'd like to do. Yeah. That's all. It's nothing.
Is there a thought? I know sometimes I have a thought, too, of as people around you grow older and sometimes they pass away before their time or they're older people. I guess nobody passes away on time, but a little bit of your legacy you're leaving for your kids, maybe a little bit of your voice and something like that. Or...
Yeah, it's funny. When I'm starting a new project or even trying to go back and edit something, I'm looking at this long folder full of stuff. This is this version of it. This happened here. This is a bounce, and it's just a complete mess. I'm thinking, I can't wait for my kids, leaving the password to my computer. They won't know what to look for. It'll be a disaster.
That's really not what I was getting at, but that is pretty funny.
Well, that's kind of the way I
can't wait to dump this on my kids.
Well, I want them to be able to hear. That does kind of drive me because I'd like to think they'll go back and listen to that stuff one day. I don't know if they will, but I would like
of course
to
they
think
will.
so.
They're going to sit there and glow and just be like, that was your grandpa right there. Hear that?
So, yeah, it's funny. I asked 2 of my friends, Chuck and another guy named Matt, which he's in North Alabama. I don't know if you want to get a guy from North Alabama down here, but he's a terrific songwriter. He'd do it. Matt Prater's his name, and I'm using up time on this, but he's a great songwriter.
I'm here for, buddy.
I'll contact him for you. He'll be in town the week of July the 25th through the end of the month.
Oh,
and you'd like to get him in here? Yeah, he's amazing.
Work, yeah.
But anyway, we talked about this, and I said, you guys ever feel like you're like the curator of your songs, like a museum, and it's up to you to keep them recorded and keep them learned, and you have to study and you have to remember, and they go, no.
Well, they just don't get it. They don't love music.
They don't. Well, I'm the guy that creates the eye rolls in the group, so.
Yeah, well, that's good. Somebody's got to do that.
But
I know what you mean. They're my babies, and I want the world to. I want them to have a chance to go out in the world and do their own thing.
Yeah.
A lot of times I think of them that way. Not like, oh, these are my babies and they're wonderful. They're flawed, not that my real children aren't perfect. But occasionally
your children aren't perfect?
Yeah. My wife's children are perfect. Mine aren't so much, yeah. But you want them to kind of get out and see the light of day, and especially when they start to get out and people appreciate them. And it's like, hey, maybe these are worth something to the world. I know they're worth something to me to get them down, but that's why I was asking that question, because I know there's a lot of older people that aren't just writing songs. They're writing for themselves, not just I'm a songwriter and I'm getting them out in the world. And,
what I'm finding out, just to go along that same line, I would like to have a project where I just have a decent recording of every song. But I'm so slow at it.
I could introduce you to a guy that could, that could probably make that happen for you.
He charges money though, and I don't have money.
He is expensive. But you're a school teacher. Do you guys?
I got major bucks. Mm-hmm. We just wallow. We go home and take money baths every day.
Well, I also bet that you could help with like roofing houses and things like that. And I think
no.
You take that on trade, right?
Sure.
I've roofed 3 houses. Those are all the houses I'm roofing.
And they leak, right?
Well, mine didn't leak.
Come on.
But when I had it re-roofed by somebody else, it did.
Oh, yeah.
But how bad you want that song to see the light of day. And,
Well, I
and
can
breathe.
always just do just a simple one guitar and voice and get through them all. But
Yeah, but that's not giving them a real chance. Just saying. Anyway,
that's true. That's true.
okay. So you've been. Let's talk about your teaching as far as you're instructing students, and I come from a long line of teachers. My grandmother, my mom, were all elementary school teachers, and they tolerated all the stuff you have to go through for those. I know they talk about it, but they really did those moments where they would reach a kid or help them succeed at something. And I know my grandmother was a school teacher in Suwannee County, which is very rural. And I remember going to her funeral and having, particularly this one lady came over to me and she said, she goes, I just want you to know, my mom was getting sent to like a special program. And back then that was, okay, we're going to teach you how to do basket weaving or something. There wasn't a special education program back then. They just diverted you to some kind of trade and you were done. But because she was having trouble reading, and they just basically said she can't read at a sufficient level to go on. And your grandmother sat down with her and just refused to let her give up. And she ended up being the valedictorian of the class when she graduated high school, and went on to have, this is her daughter telling me all this,
Wow.
Well, Suwannee County valedictorian. I'm not knocking the education, but I mean, you're talking 20-something
This
students.
show going to be
probably,
seen in Central Florida.
Yeah. Well, back then, I mean, it was, it was the graduating class of 20 or something.
Right.
So that's what I'm getting at.
Right.
Well, it's probably some of that too. It was a different age, different time. But the point being that she had reached those kids and it changed not just their life, but their kids' life. And, do you see when you're working with music and kids are developing under your tutelage, does that type of reward, and do you see that feeding back into your music where you kind of think about, some of that stuff and just the power of music to help young people grow? That's like 10 questions in one.
That's so deep.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike. Yeah, sure, of course. I don't want to be falsely modest, but I do get notes years and years later from people through Facebook a lot of times. Just want you to know, I know I was a little jerk and you put up with a lot and my life is better because you were my teacher, that kind of stuff. And it's pretty nice to see that from time to time. I see kids that I just knew were going to jail. And I see them out in public being married and having kids and driving nice cars. I go, all right. And I don't take any credit for it. Mostly I kick myself.
They say crime doesn't pay.
Mostly I just think, well, I'm glad I was wrong.
Yeah.
Because when you're teaching middle school, I mean, it's either this way or that way, and you never know which way they could end up. Most of them end up going the right way, and really, really very few don't. And that's good. We don't want that. But,
Well, I mean, I can remember how I was in high school, and there's some apologies I owe people.
Oh, yeah,
that I'm not that
definitely.
guy anymore. You're not. Of course, you're not. You're not grown up, and you got your own issues you're dealing with, and it's people like you that give some guidance, and if nothing else, just an example. I was in high school at Bay, and Alan Williams, you remember Huck?
oh yeah, I knew.
He was my band director.
I haven't heard that word in a while. That's funny.
Forever, And
So were you in school with the Rudolph boys?
That might
You're
have
probably
been.
not old enough.
I'm not sure.
Oh well, anyway,
Well,
they
yeah,
were in that band.
No, was the answer to that. So that might have been before my time, my window. But the point being that obviously my dad, my grandfathers were big role models in my life. But when you go outside of that, it was Mr. Voss, Ray Voss was our scoutmaster.
Oh yeah.
And then and his son was in the band too, Bobby. And then Huck, those were like the big role models I had in my life coming through, school. You spend so much time with the band and stuff.
Well, band is.
So don't screw it up. You're gonna screw up a bunch of kids.
I only got one more chance to screw this up, and that's good because I really, really want to be focusing on the music that I want to make now. I've done it with the school board for all this time, and I don't regret a bit of it. I had a great time, met a ton of wonderful people, and I've had students that I'm still in contact with to this day. Some of them are musicians, and they curse my name for ruining their lives and turning them into musicians. But no, I've got a lot of
their
good
parents too.
most of their parents.
So, speaking of chances to ruin things, how about we go next door and let's play some of your songs? You can show them off.
Okay, let's do that.
All right, we're going to go over next door and we'll be right back.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. You know, Uncle Scotty and Fred are just sitting here in the old trailer park watching Radio Cosmos Live.
All right, we're back here in the studio with our man, Mr. Gary Nichols. Why do I want to call you Greg?
Yeah, it's happened
I'm
a lot
sorry.
over the years. Don't feel bad. It's pretty common.
We're going to start that over.
Okay.
All right, we're back in the studio with our good friend, Mr. Gary Nichols, with some of his wonderful, witty music. He's double capoed for your pleasure. Let's go.
Pretentious.
Going on down to New Orleans, I got more women than you ever seen. There ain't no strangers in this town. They don't care if you lay around. The etouffee is hot and thick. You drink corn liquor till it make you sick. The streets are full of bums and queens, but they ain't got you in New Orleans. They got a kind of music that sounds like a fight between tomcats. Now some folks call it jazz. I hear it all goes down the same with beer. Been flooded and conquered and burned and bought. In July, hell ain't half that hot. Grilled pecan pie and collard greens, but they ain't got you in New Orleans. They got Dixie beer and Mardi Gras. You fight the skeeters to a draw. When the hurricane comes, drink a little more liquor. You can drown yourself a little more quicker. I love this town in spite of things. She's an angel that has lost her wings. Beneath this pile of broken dreams, there's a heart that's busted at the seams. I wandered round this world of woe where lovers come and lovers go, but only New Orleans really soothes my soul. It's the greatest story ever told. Dixie beer and Mardi Gras. Now you fight the skaters to a draw. When the hurricane comes, drink a little more liquor. You can drown yourself a little more quicker. And gooey sausage, rice, and red hot beans. I love the way you live it leans. I'm gonna get a little love behind the scenes. They ain't got you in New Orleans. No, they ain't got you in New Orleans.
That song's called New Orleans.
That's a good one. I like that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Got a little bit of Cajun spice there.
Yeah, he's got the Viking in this thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know, it's people often talk about the sound, the Northwest Florida kind of sound, and I think we do have a indigenous sound up here. It's kind of got a little bit of that, Alabama rock stuff, and then, but the big dosing of Cajun music in there too.
Well, I'm sure.
Kind of like the cooking around here.
Oh, there's some good food. Sorry, I got to do this thing sometimes just to double check.
No, it's good.
That one's not happy. Okay, we fixed that. Okay. So
tell us about the next tune you got.
I think I'd like to do a song. This is a big hit with my fan. Mm-hmm. That's a joke.
So Chuck likes it.
Actually, this is a song I wrote about my aunt and uncle. The song's called Paul and Rita. Their real names were Gladys and Euless, but Gladys and Euless just didn't seem to fit so well.
What rhymes with Euless?
Gladys and Euless. Gladys and Euless Isbell, and they were, among other things, cotton farmers, and this is a song about that part of their life.
Paul and Rita had about 10 acres, it was all good black land bottom. Cotton was king, but some years it seemed like God forgot 'em. But the river would flood and bring the good rich mud, and right back to cotton they'd go. Sit on the porch at the end of the day, a cup of cold black coffee, and Rita would say, where in the world did the time go? How the trees get to be so tall. Wasn't yesterday's summer? Is it really already fall? I can feel the winter creeping in the holler. Did you hear old Bob White call? Where in the world did the time go, Paul? Now they raised 5 kids, put 4 through college, only 1 went back. A little lost lamb by the name of Sam nearly cost them everything they had. The river run down till it was muddy and brown, and then the cotton fields finally played out. And evenings they'd watch the fireflies play, and Rita would turn to Paul and say, where in the world did the time go? How'd the kids get to be so tall? Yesterday I watched them run and play, I guess I thought that they'd stay small. I can feel the winter deep in my bones. Did you hear old Bob White call? Where in the world did the time go, Paul? She soothes the wrinkles out in the lap of her apron, gets a far away look in her steel gray eyes. She says, ain't it funny no matter when the season changes? Well, it always seems to take you by surprise. Surprise, yeah. Now Paul passed on and left Rita alone to watch the trees break down and fall. She still got her mind, but she's about half blind. She slowed down to a crawl. The river run dry like a tearless eye. The kids are grown and moved away, but she still gets around where they laid him down, and she still has the strength to say, where in the world did the time go? I got some memories and that's about all. Even the brightest yesterdays are getting hard to recall. But we used to run in the summer sun, but we finally hit that wall. Where in the world did the time go, Paul? Where in the world did the time go, Paul?
There you go.
Very nice.
Thank you.
I tell you, that pulls at the old heartstrings.
Yeah, that's kind of the plan.
You mean old man? Yeah, I noticed a lot of your songs, we get lots of different songwriters, and they do lots of different styles. And some people I call kind of that classic storyteller kind of sound, and that's very much, especially that track was really, you could picture that in your mind with the.
That's the plan.
The Bob White whistling and sitting on the front porch. Now I grew up in kind of that environment with my I'm only one generation off the farm, so I can really picture it because we sat on the front porch, and they dealt with us those same kind of problems.
I can remember Euless drinking cold black coffee in the middle of the afternoon, smoking cool cigarettes.
Because everybody did back then.
Yeah, because everybody did back then.
But yeah, good stuff, man.
Thank you. Well, I think songs ought to be about storytelling. I'm militantly mitigating against the effects of modern pop music as much as I can.
Yeah, well, if you just get the right number of syllables, that's all it really matters.
I got it. And rhymes. Don't forget about rhymes.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Well, I'm trying to pick out another song here. How about That is a song I wrote for my wife.
Better get that one in.
Well, when you hear it,
So, you're not living in my house. Calvin's got a spare room.
no, she's heard this a few times.
Okay.
This is about when you've been married a long, long time, and you wonder how you've managed to hang on that long. And
I have no idea what you're talking about. Every day of my marriage is
just
like
primo. It's beautiful.
Yes,
it's a
the sun
moment.
comes out and I'm like,
Birds outside.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not too loud though, just right.
This is called We Get Along.
She don't like dogs, but I can't live without them. I can't stand her family, but all she does is talk about them. But somehow we get along. I like to ride horses to scare her half to death. I'm stomping and screaming to get what I want. She's turning blue, holding her breath, but somehow we get along. We get along like a coon and a red-bone hound. We get along like a moon-faced smiling frown. I'm goodwill lost and found. She's all pearls and gowns. Maybe I'm just the words to her song. Maybe that's why we get along. You know, I like to talk politics. She don't want to hear about them. She likes them TV preachers. I think the world's better off without them. But somehow we get along. They say opposites attract. She's got everything I like. I got the gun, but my baby, she's got the rack. We get along like the Montagues and Capulets. Not exactly like Romeo and Juliet. I'm chicken fried up brown. She's the toast of the town. Maybe I'm always right. She's never wrong. We get along like Bonnie and Clyde and the law. I get along with her ma. She gets along with my pa. She's rules, I'm out of bounds. We're turning this whole world upside down, but now there ain't no other place on earth where we belong. Maybe that's why we get along. Maybe that's why we get along. Maybe that's why we get along. Maybe.
Thank you.
I just figured that as when you've been married as long as it sounds like you have, and I have.
40.
Well, as long as you have.
40. Oh, eight.
80? You've been,
Wow.
Tom's been married for 80 years.
Remarkably well preserved, my friend.
Yes. He married young.
He was
He was only 60 when he got married. That you're just broken and you're not good for anybody else. So
Well, that's, you know what?
If you make it past that first little bit,
Yeah,
you're perfect for each other
that's
after that.
good. That's very
You
good.
got to grow into these things.
Good way to look at that. I like
Yeah,
that.
you know.
Hey, Mo.
She likes me, okay.
Nothing says happy like a good murder ballad, I always say. And
Well, there you go.
so I'm going to play you one. This is one I'm kind of big on the West. I like the West. I like to visit out there, and I like the old-timey cowboy songs and things like that, and the old murder ballads. You know, that was a big thing back in the day. Some girl would get murdered by some guy for no apparent reason, and I'm murdering this
You've broken the
Thing.
studio chair.
studio chair. Go back together. Watch me fix it without even getting off with it. Wow, that's amazing. I hope you got that on camera.
Technical skills.
This is called Coyote Woman.
Bitterroot grows on the northern plains, where the mountains greet the morning sun. The cowboy's born to roam the range, and the wild ponies run. I won her in a card game fair, late one night in Deadwood Town. bought her a sweet little chestnut mare and a saddle blanket green and brown. Howling wine, Coyote Woman, sleep and dream the cold land. Mourn the breaking dawn, Coyote Woman. Love can only do what love can. The man who lost her said to me, don't close both eyes to sleep, my friend. She'll stop at nothing to get free. Trusting her could be your end. She smiled a little at these words. Then her face grew dark and my blood ran cold. She belonged to me outright, now that's for sure. But I'd only bluffed to watch him fold. Howling wine, Coyote Woman, sleep and dream the cold land. Mourn the breaking dawn, Coyote Woman. Love can only do what love can. Camped that night beside the creek. In the morning I was planning to sell her out, but my fevered brain was all to seek. How had this nightmare come about? All night I watched the campfire dance, her face at peace behind the flames. How I wish I'd lost that game of chance. And I buried her beneath the plains. Howling wine, Coyote Woman, sleep and dream the cold land. Mourn the breaking dawn, Coyote Woman. Love can only do what love can. The bitter root grows on the northern plain, where the mountains greet the morning sun. And the cowboy's barn are on the range, and the wild ponies run.
Is everybody sad now?
I know, man. These songs are depressing. You got any happy songs over there?
I got
Good stuff, man.
I got
Good
a
stuff.
happy song.
Like that picking too. That kind of western.
It's kind
old
of a
school
hybrid flat pick and finger pick. I've got one of these acrylic nails put on here, you know. And
that's very.
I pick the bass notes and then it's kind of neat.
I like that stuff. Good stuff.
Thank you. Can I send a shout out to my friend Chris Alvarado?
No, you can't, Chris Alvarado.
This is a Chris Alvarado guitar that I had built by him. He's a guitar maker over in Freeport, Florida. Amazing guitar builder. That's for you, Chris, if you get a chance to see this.
Yeah, that's so that's a custom thing he builds them over there. That's a good looking guitar.
Well, it's pretty. It's got an atom on it.
Atom, a whole atom.
An entire atom, yes.
Yeah.
It's an American walnut and not Sitka spruce. What's that other kind of? It's one of those cedars, I think, but I don't know. It's really spruce. It's not spruce. It is a cedar. There's a special name for it. I can't remember now. Anyway, he's a heck of a builder. Driftwood Guitars. If you get a chance to look up his stuff on
Driftwood Guitars,
on
I'll
the
check it out.
Intronet.
I didn't even know we had a luthier of that caliber in this area.
Yeah, he's
that's a
great.
beautiful guitar.
Thank you.
And it sounds pretty darn good.
So you think you want to hear the song about the date?
Is it gonna be sad?
No.
Okay.
This is the one you were listening to, and I said,
that one, yeah. This is my favorite of his, by the way. So, twisting his arm here.
Yeah, this is what you say to a girl when you get turned down before you even get into the bar.
I've never had that experience in my life.
This is how you respond. You say, I got good teeth. I got pretty hair. I got a brand new GMC pickup truck. See, it's parked right over there. I got a good job down at the super center too. What's wrong with you? What am I missing? By now we ought to be hugging and squeezing and kissing on the front porch swing with a dog or two. What am I missing? Say, what's it take to get your attention? Don't seem to be me, so what's wrong with you? See this dinner-sized plate belt buckle? Yes, I won it last year. I went 11.17 seconds on a 2-ton steer. I've done every manly thing a good old boy can do. So what's wrong with you? What am I missing? By now we ought to be kissing on a pair of bar stools down at the Chat and Chew. What am I missing? Say, how are you out in the kitchen? Well, don't worry about it, I can teach you a thing or two. 'Cause I'm the home run hitter on the Sunday school softball team. I can chug a 6-pack, I'm a line dance king. I'm every country cowgirl's dream. So obviously, the problem isn't me. Honey, what's wrong with you? What am I missing? Why don't you just sit down and be sweet and listen? I explain just exactly how I hung the moon. What am I missing? You know, a catch like me, that ought to be your ambition. Why, you say you're gonna keep on fishing? Well, I had to just keep on wishing that the Lord above is gonna send you a clue. And you'll finally figure out what's wrong with you. That's what you say.
That's the one I like.
Thought you
I'm
might.
sure that was you're like, yeah, thanks. I wrote, War and Peace over here, but you're down with the comic strip.
That's kind of a good point. Yeah.
Well, pearls before swine. What can you say?
Well, yeah, we don't want to waste them. Don't cast them. Trying to make sure I stay on kind of the.
See, I'm dragging him off his little thing there.
Do we have time for?
We have time, man.
another
We got
one?
all the time in the world for you, big guy.
Oh man.
Heaven knows I'm gonna have to edit out half of the stuff we said in there, so. Or I can never go back to Live Oak, Florida again.
I do like that. Swanee County, here I come.
I still got a farm over there, man. I gotta be careful.
Nice. You raise cattles on there?
They used to, till Grandpa got too old to. That's a young man's business. Cattle's tough work.
So among other people, Mark Twain's one of my heroes of all time. Mostly because he was hilarious, but also because he told the truth in such great ways. And if you don't know his story, do you know his story? Know anything about Mark Twain?
His personal story, or okay, educate me. I thought it was just the goatee that you connected with.
Well, he just only had the mustache, I think, didn't he? He didn't have.
But it was big.
It was a big mustache. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It was quite a mustache. Anyway, so he's from Missouri, and he grew up on the Mississippi River. That's a huge part of his life. He became a river pilot and went up and down the Mississippi for a while, learning that trade. And of course, he became famous. And he was born when Halley's Comet was first seen in 15, 18, 20.
Down, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
back then,
Yeah.
a long time ago. And then he always predicted that when Halley's Comet came back again in 1910, that's when he would die. And sure enough, it's what happened.
He's an alien. I'm not saying he was an alien, but he was an alien.
He went back on the comet.
That's
To
right.
his planet. So
You heard it here, maybe not first, but best.
So there's the verse in the end where he says he's standing in the wheelhouse of his Hartford home, which is in Connecticut. He built this beautiful home, and there's a part of it that looks like the bridge of a riverboat, and they say he did that on purpose because he liked that. He would stand there and look important and think, and he's talking about, it's the end of his life. What you don't realize is, and I have to tell you this, or you wouldn't know this. Basically, he's already dead, and this is his ghost, but he doesn't know he's dead.
And supposedly, he still haunts that house.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I've
It's
seen
a
him
really
on the
nice
ghost
house.
hunting shows. Going in there looking for him. Just saying.
Yeah, so this is
Creepy place.
that's on my bucket list.
Big red brick house with a round glass thing. in it.
Sure wish I had my thing that I put my foot on at home. I didn't.
Do we
think
got a
of
thing?
it. I'm fine.
Tom, get down there on all fours so we can.
Yeah, let me put my lay down there. Let me put this on your
Where
shoulder.
are our students this week?
This is called Mississippi Rolling On.
I was born out in the West, in a little river town. The mighty Mississippi slipping by, quiet and brown. 'Twas the comet brought me in this world, and it's coming back around. Shies back home on that little river town. A pilot on the river, well, he's the master of this helm. Like a book he reads the channel, sovereign of the realm. Throw your lead way out ahead, Mark Twain, and better still, sing it out, blow the whistle, ring the bell. Back on the Mississippi, a pirate on the run, pulling past the shoals, berry brown from the sun, listening to God chuckling in the thunderheads at dawn, and the mighty Mississippi rolling on, rolling on. I can tell you the river's stories, sing his simple songs. The river's rolling wisdom, Lord, the river's never wrong. I've had a dash of fortune, a pinch or two of fame, but now the river's still the only one really knows my name. Back on the Mississippi, a pirate on the run, pulling past the shoals and berry brown from the sun, listening to God chuckling in the thunderheads at dawn, and the mighty Mississippi rolling on, rolling on. Standing in the wheelhouse of my empty Hartford home, everyone I'd ever mattered gone and left me all alone. Now it must have been some dreadful sin for which I can't atone, but I swear my soul's as pure as bleached white bone. Back on the Mississippi, a pirate on the run, pulling past the shoals and berry brown from the sun, listening to God chuckling in the thunderheads at dawn, and the mighty Mississippi rolling on, rolling on, the mighty Mississippi rolling on.
Thank you.
I like it. I like it.
Thank you very much.
You seem to be a little bit of a musical man out of time there.
I was telling my wife the other day, I think I should have been born in the 1930s.
Yeah, well, you know, you're in Panama City, but your music is the Mississippi, out west, New Orleans, so we got a lot of stuff there. But I think we have a lot of that, you know, since so many people come from other places here.
It's true. I really hadn't thought about that. I'm going to cogitate upon that.
Yeah, cogitate. Word power.
Not
Greg,
real word
with
power.
Greg Nichols. With Gary Nichols.
Greg. Oh, so many times.
Moving right along. You have more over there in
If
your
you want to hear
box
one.
of magic, man. Got time for a couple more.
Regrets are made of little things. Missing buttons, broken strings. Waiting on the phone to ring in the middle of the night. Decisions made in haste and dread. Should have stayed, you left instead. Now no place to rest your head in the middle of the night. Tomorrow's just a second guess. A call girl in a wedding dress. You think about her less and less in the middle of the night. It's the things that you forgot to do, the things you did to God knows who. The hardest part of being you is the middle of the night. Tomorrow's just a second guess. A call girl in a wedding dress. You think about her less and less in the middle of the night. It's the things that you forgot to do, the things you did to God knows who. The hardest part of being you is the middle of the night. Regrets are made of little things. Tilted halos, busted wings. Gifts you always meant to bring in the middle of the night. Songs you never learned to sing in the middle of the night.
Very nicely done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Very much.
All right, we got time for one more song. You got a good one tucked away there for your grand finale?
To make up for the sad songs?
Nah, go ahead and lay another one on me.
I don't have any more sad songs. I do.
Oh, okay.
I do kind of have a happy song.
I don't know if I can. I can't picture you with a happy song at this point.
That's sad.
See, there you go.
A lot of my songs are about regret, and I feel bad about it.
When all you can count on is the blues, and all you hope to get is more bad news, before you put on your walking shoes, sit here a while and try to smile. Might be a bitter pill right at the start. Might feel just like a stake right through your heart. You think that if you smile you'll fall apart. But that's okay. Smile anyway. A shy little grin or a sly little smirk. Whatever it takes, whatever works. Turn them corners up from your chin. Begin again to smile. Time may lay a callous-covered hand upon your heart. Don't play old man time any mind. Every precious moment on this earth is your own. Smile all the while even if you're not inclined, and I promise you your face ain't gonna crack. The more you give, the more you're gonna get back. Trim your little sail to a whole new tack. Honey child, smile.
They're a little bit happy.
That's very happy, man.
Also known as fake it till you make it, right? So,
Yeah, you know, that was a nice little short one too. So
nice little short one.
I bet we can squeeze one more, and if you got one,
Oh,
more,
I don't got one more.
That's
it.
all you've ever.
That's all I
written.
did. Well, no, I've got dozens, but I don't have time to keep them all up to speed. You know, I have to learn a handful here and a handful there.
Only so many gray cells left firing, huh?
Yeah.
How about you tell everybody where the .coms and all that stuff, where they can hear your music and check you out?
I don't have a website anymore, unfortunately. I am on Reverb Nation, Gary W. Nichols, and I'm playing around town. I've got a Facebook page. Yeah, just look me up on Facebook. I'm playing at Pineapple Willie's with Chuck Foster a lot. Playing at Patches from time to time. Well, usually every Sunday afternoon, if the weather allows me to.
Good food there too.
Oh yeah, very good. So yeah, I hope you'll come out and listen and have a good time.
All right, he is the amazing, the wonderful, heck of a nice guy. Thank you for coming out, Gary. Mr. Gary
You're very
Nichols.
welcome. Nice to meet you, Mike. Thank you.
Wonderful music too, I like it.
Appreciate it.
That's going to do it for this week, guys. We'll see you next time on Radio Cosmos Live.